Ellison Thompson is the Deputy Director General of the Bahamas Ministry of Tourism and Aviation. He joins us now by phone. Ellison, what is the main focus right now as these recovery efforts are underway?
Good afternoon, and thank you very much for having us. And at the moment, search and rescue is still ongoing. We've got to realize that this is a Category 5, a major storm that sat over the northern Bahamas for over 50 hours. And if you look at the geography of the Bahamas, we stretch for 750 miles from the tip of Florida down to Cuba. So the islands that were affected are two of the major islands in the northern Bahamas, Grand Bahama Island and Abaco. And all supplies have to get into those two islands, either via Nassau or out of Florida. So this is taking a little time to do.
It clearly needs a great deal of time to pick up and to help with recovery efforts. We know 43 people at least have died. Officials really expect that number to rise significantly, in their words. Can you tell us a little bit more about the death toll and what you expect?
Well, at the moment, as I said, there's 43 that are confirmed. The Minister of Health has indicated that that is expected to rise, but we just have to wait until the official count comes through. Because what we don't want to do is, comment on numbers and then they're inaccurate, or we say somebody's dead and they're not. So we have to be very careful about that. So we just want to make sure that we have the official numbers that we're able to comment on.
And thousands of people are still looking for loved ones. What are the challenges right now that they're facing?
Well, the challenges are really that you had a Category 5 hurricane that sat there with 180 miles an hour sustained winds, gusts up to 220 miles for over 50 hours. So everything is pretty much devastated in those islands. So we have to wait to get moving equipment, chainsaws, bulldozers to get into those affected areas. And luckily, we've got great friends in the United States, your Coast Guard, your Navy, also the British, and also Caribbean neighbors who are helping us in this effort. It's really unprecedented for us. Our country has never had such a devastating hurricane.
We can just see the devastation in these images that we're seeing on our television screen, the recovery efforts, people trying to help as well. We know that the UN says almost 70,000 people are homeless in the Bahamas. What happens to those people? Obviously, it'll take a great deal of time to rebuild their homes.
Yeah, a number of those have been evacuated into Nassau and also some to our other islands, for example, the Exuma, Eleuthero, Cat Island. And also the United States government has allowed certain persons to come into the United States who have family members there. But in the meantime, the supplies that are coming in, we're asking for tents, generators, refrigerating units, so that those persons who have to stay in those islands can get a little bit more comfortable. It's not going to be easy. It's going to take a while.
And what can people do right now? So many people are watching the Bahamas and they want to help. How do they do that?
Several ways they can do that. If you go to bahamas.com/relief, there's information about donations in terms of cash and items. But also come and continue to visit the Bahamas, because we need to make sure that the tourists' dollars keep flowing in so that money can be used to assist in recovery efforts.
Your agency oversees tourism in the Bahamas. Tourism, as you mentioned, a huge generator of revenue there for the economy. How do you think this is going to affect the economy there in the Bahamas?
Well, obviously, it will have some impact. For example, Nassau Paradise Island, which is a major area, that was unaffected. So visitors can come and visit us here. We've had cruise ships coming in since Friday. But if you look at the numbers between January to July 2019, there are about 2.6 million visitors who came to Nassau Paradise Island. Grand Bahama, one of the islands that was affected, they had about 415,000. And Abaco, 280,000. So you can see from those numbers that it will definitely have an impact on us. But luckily, the major touristic area is still intact. So visitors can very easily come to Nassau Paradise Island, to Eleuthero, to Exuma, to Andros, Cat Island. So these islands are still open.
Ellison Thompson, so grateful you can join us. Thank you for your time.
And thank you for helping us in our hour of need. We really appreciate you getting the word out for us. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
You bet.